Hey, what's up, Prosperity Nation? Randy Gage back here again with a very special guest. This is another chance to you to eavesdrop in on a conversation between me and one of my cool friends. And this one is John Lee Dumas, or JLD if you're hanging around Clubhouse. And he is the host of the Entrepreneur on Fire podcast, which I have been on numerous times, which has like 100 million listens. He created a freedom journal, which is pretty cool, which we might talk about at some point. And he has a new book coming out, which I think is going to be really sexy. It's coming out March 23rd, 2021. Oh, and look at that. He's holding it up.
Damn sexy.
Welcome to the show.
Randy, it's great to be back. Love hanging out with you. Your energy, your incredibly shiny head, all of those things I love.
So John Lee, isn't it a law if your name is John Lee, you have to be a country singer?
No, you're thinking of John Lee Hooker, who's actually a famous jazz musician.
That's true. I'm not thinking about Hooker. That's right. All right. So you've been in the entrepreneurial world forever, and you get a chance to brainstorm and hang out with some of the coolest entrepreneurs. And this new book, you're kind of doing the Napoleon Hill thing. Do you see yourself where he interviewed, I think it was 40 people of his time. You've done way
3,000. Let me tell you, just to break in on you here for a second. This is, because you nailed it. This is the modern day Think and Grow Rich. This is the modern day Napoleon Hill going around interviewing 40 of the world's most successful entrepreneurs and then putting into a book, Think and Grow Rich. For the past decade, Randy, I've been virtually going around the world, interviewing the world's most successful entrepreneurs, 3,000 of them. And then I've taken those lessons, those learnings, those tactics, those strategies, and I've really boiled down the commonalities as I see it on what successful entrepreneurs have in common with each other. And when it came down to like brass tacks, brother, there were 17 core foundational principles that successful entrepreneurs share with each other, just 17. And I put them in a chronological format. And I said, this is a step-by-step roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment. This is a 17 chapter book that needs to be written. This is the common path to uncommon success.
So for curiosity's sake, I'm curious, what was the one you put first? Because you thought that was the first step, the foundational one.
It is the foundational step. And unfortunately, Randy, most people are going to die. And I mean die. Let's get dramatic here for a second. Without ever having done this step. Identify your big idea. We all have a big idea inside of us. We all have a zone of fire that we can be living every single day. I spent 32 years of my life, my first 32 years, having no idea what that big idea was because I never sat down to actually intentionally think about what's my big idea. Not like, let me chase like what my parents want me to do and go to law school or chase money and go into corporate finance, all the things that I did and failed at. What is my big idea? What is my zone of fire? And most people are going to die never even sitting down and getting intentional and thinking about that and then identifying that big idea that's theirs alone, that's unique, that's special, like a snowflake for them. And that's what I do in step 1, chapter 1, brother. I help you for the first time for a lot of people identify their big idea. And some people have their big idea right now. This will help you tweak, adjust, and pivot your big idea into really what it should be, into really what your zone of fire is, because it's likely you're missing a couple key components that we really dive into.
So in my parlance, my last book, I was talking about discovering your assignment. I think it's kind of the equivalent of what you're talking about with
less sexy, but it sounds similar. Just kidding.
So I think it's intriguing. Do you think you discover your assignment, your big idea, or do you think it discovers you if you're open to receive it?
Well, you kind of added a couple words at the end there that, make it possible to answer it both ways. But, the way that I want to answer this question is a lot of people want to just sit there floating in this world, not being intentional, not taking the lead, not taking any action, and just, let's just hope I win the lottery. Let's just hope that my big idea finds me. Let's just hope that success finds me. There's such thing as luck in the world. Luck is where effort meets opportunity. If you're not putting in the efforts, when the opportunities come, you're not going to be there. You need to get out there, make things happen, get intentional, take control of your life. You need to take the first step on this 17-step roadmap. And the first step is you sitting down, following the principles and the exercises in this book to identify your big idea for potentially the first time in your life, or perfecting your big idea if you're close, and then you can go on to step 2.
So somebody watching right now or listening says, oh, so he means I have to be an entrepreneur. I don't want to be an entrepreneur. I got a job. I love it. What would you say to that person?
I would honestly say this book is not for you. If you have a job that you're getting up every single day and you're going and you're working for somebody else and you're happy and you're content and that's the life that you want, that is a life that you should stay in. Because I got to be honest with you, brother, this path to uncommon success, it's hard. It is hard work. Growing a multi-million-dollar business that I love was really, really hard. You know what's also hard? Being broke, living paycheck to paycheck, waking up every morning doing something you don't enjoy doing. That's really hard too. That's where I was at 32 years old, 10 years ago. And I chose my hard. Either path I was going to take was going to be hard. Building this business or being broke and unhappy and miserable and unfulfilled. I chose the hard path of building this business. And if you don't want that, hard, keep on doing you. Keep going to your job every day. Keep, working for somebody else, which I'm not saying derogatory. I worked for somebody else for a long time and there were some great times within that, and keep doing your thing. That's awesome.
You don't see any way for them that their big idea might be outside of their employment?
100%. But you told me that they're happy. You told me that they're happy and that they're enjoying their job. Why mix the pot? Life is good.
Well, sometimes I think people, so I did a couple of podcasts in the last week, one with Victoria LeBaume and one with Stephen Pressfield, both creative geniuses. And we were talking about how society rewards creative people, particularly artists, right? If you're a sculptor or a painter or a dancer, not everybody gets the financial reward there, but that may be a real passion for them. Sometimes it's their vocation, and I think sometimes it's their avocation. So is maybe their big idea is to start a nonprofit that's helping kids in the inner city. Would those same kind of principles apply, you think, the 17 steps in the book?
100%. Now, see, like the picture that you painted for me was an individual that is going to a job that they love. They're happy in their life. They're doing the day-to-day thing. And then they're going home. They're spending time with their family. They're going to bed. They're doing it again. But if you were to add on the second component that it sounds like you might be here, which is they feel like something's missing. Like there's something more they could give to this world. Like there's other passions that aren't being fulfilled and met right now. Then yes.
Yeah, well, you know what it is? I think, we talk about body shaming or all these other things. I feel like we've kind of devolved a little in pop culture today, or not pop culture, but culture of employee shaming. Like, if you're not an entrepreneur, you're just a bum. And there are wonderful, amazing, talented people who don't have that entrepreneurship.
100%.
They just don't, right?
Yeah. And like I said, I commended those people. I think if you found a job that you love and you are happy in life, don't mix the pot up, bro. Come on, sister. Keep it going, man. You've done it. I was miserable. I had to do something. If you're happy, man, what are we looking for? We're looking for happiness.
Yeah, and I was the same. I mean, I'm psychologically unemployable. So I found that I was really projecting that onto everybody when I was writing blogs and doing podcasts.
But
And I
this is the
kinda
same
had
thing
an
that I will challenge you on right now is the people that are going to read those blogs that you are writing, the people that are going to be listening to this podcast, these really aren't people that are that are employees that are comfortable at their job and happy and love it and want nothing else. They're not finding your content. And so you're writing to the right people. You're writing to people who are searching for and finding your content. So, you might have been like unintentionally employee shaming in some ways, but I mean, nobody that was going to be shamed by you was consuming your content. So to me, that's kind of irrelevant.
Well, I just feel like I was kind of prejudging that the only way to success was entrepreneurship. And
So you're telling me that you've evolved. Is that what you're telling me?
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
And I think there's people who are going through that evolution, watching or listening now, that I think your book could do them well. That it's not, that they may not be and consider themselves an entrepreneur at this moment in this space-time continuum. But I think the principles, based on my early review of the book, it seems to me they might find that intriguing.
Well, let me get a little granular on this because I do agree with you that the word entrepreneur is, pretty specific. And there's a whole sector of people that are intrapreneurs. Like I've had long talks and conversations with people who are literally experts in this intrapreneurship. And a lot of these big companies, by the way, especially the Googles and the Facebooks and the Amazons, but even like your old, Dow 30 companies like, GE, who I guess actually is no longer in the top Dow 30, but, huge old companies like that, like they are really promoting and encouraging entrepreneurship within their companies because they want their employees to get creative and have ideas and really help out. And, that's one thing, even going back to Henry Ford, he was huge on walking down his assembly line and talking to every single person saying, you are like the hands-on here. I'm not going to come up with any ideas up in that office. You tell me, how can we improve your job? How can we improve your part of this assembly line? And like that can happen in businesses all the time. And that entrepreneurship can be really cool.
So that book you were holding up, look on the back. What's the category they put it in?
Business and economics / entrepreneurship.
Okay, so let's go with the entrepreneurship thing. What do you think is in this book? There are 55,427,000 entrepreneur books. What's in this one that nobody else thought of before?
So this book is the definitive roadmap, the step-by-step process of getting to financial freedom and fulfillment from 3,000 interviews with successful entrepreneurs. I'm an avid consumer of business books. I love them. They're all awesome. A lot of them are inspirational stories, are motivational stories, are comparisons to this and, strategies for that. And that's all good and well. I know what my audience needed, which they were not able to find. And the reason why I sat down and wrote this book is I'm not an author and I'm not a writer, but I did this because I knew it had to get out there, is this very simple, very clear, step-by-step path and roadmap to financial freedom and fulfillment. And I'd say one of the biggest things in this book that really stands out from other business books is actually step 7, chapter 7. This is a 71,000 word book, 273 pages. I wrote every single word myself, painfully, because I'm, again, not a natural author, not a natural writer. Luckily, I had an amazing editor at HarperCollins who, was huge for this. But the average chapter is 3,500 words in this book. Chapter 7, step 7, 13,500 words. And after I wrote that step, I stepped back and I said, this is the reason why I generate multiple millions of dollars of net profit, not just gross. Anybody can do gross. I mean, listen, just spend $2 million in ads, you'll make $1 million and you'll be negative $1 million. So don't worry about gross numbers you hear. The reason why I've been making multiple millions of dollars of net profit a year for 8 years in a row is because of this step, designing a content production plan. My content production plan, as I stand before you in 2021, 10 years into doing this, is fantastic. It was terrible when I started, and I paid for it. Almost every single person, well, let's just be honest, every single person who's listening and watching this, your content production plan is terrible. Like, don't get offended by that. This is meant to help you, because let me help you get better with this 13,500 word chapter. This is what you need to go from your terrible content production plan, or non-existent, it's one of the two, to a fantastic content production plan, which will change everything. Randy, I work 5 days per month. Now, listen, I work really hard those 5 days. I am really morning to night, boom, 5 days, hard work.
You are scheduled to the minute on those 5 days.
Minute. I mean, it is, I got on before and I was like, Randy, I have until 55 minutes past the hour. I mean, that's what you call a calendar right there. That's it. It's my calendar. Like, I destroy it 5 days per month. In 25 days, I have nothing on my calendar. You cannot get on my calendar 25 days in the month. That's how I design my life, my personal choice. That's not for everybody. That's for me. That's what I wanted in my world. But it's all as a result of my content production plan. If you design your content production plan, you can design your life. If it's working 25 days a month and taking 5 off, or if it's the inverse, whatever that looks like for you. I've never seen anything like this in any other book before, because frankly, nobody has a fantastic content production plan that I know of, that I've ever seen. Ours is fantastic. It took 10 years to get here. I have 3 virtual assistants. That's it. But I run this multi-million-dollar media empire that has over 100 million listens, 1.4 million listens every single month, flawlessly, and at times easily, besides those 5 hard days per month, where I am, really just able to do what I want to do, which is enjoy life.
So what do you do on those 25 days a month in Puerto Rico when you're not working? What lights you up?
Well, listen, and I do mean this sincerely, by the way. Like, I look at people like you and I'm like, when I get slightly older, because you're not that much older than me, but like, I'm
20 years older than you.
I want to look as good as Randy when I'm 20 years older. Like, I really do. Like, health and wellness is a huge priority for me. So my other 25 days, like, I am working on that. Like, I don't have necessarily the best genes in the world. Don't have the worst genes, but I don't have the best genes. My genetics are okay. So I'm focused, brother. I'm working out every day. I'm going for long walks. I have an infrared sauna I'm in 7 days a week. I have a cold plunge that I'm in every single day. I'm meditating. I'm journaling. I'm hanging out with friends. Like, I'm doing the things that I enjoy doing, lowering stress, anxiety. It's almost gone from my life. Again, those 5 days, I'm all in. There's some stress and anxiety during those 5 days, but the other days, it's almost none. I'm reading pleasure books. I have a garden that I'm tending my garden. I
love that.
Most of the food that I eat, comes from this garden that I tend. I mean, those type of things, man, you can fill your life up pretty quick if you want. And by the way, I live in Puerto Rico. So hello, like, I am on the Caribbean Ocean. My house is just this expansive, gorgeous view of the Caribbean. I get to breathe that in all day.
Infrared sauna. What is that? I've never heard of that.
Yeah. So if anybody wants to Google Therassage, Thera Sage, Therassage, it's not expensive. I think it's like $700 or something. And you can literally get shipped to your house this infrared sauna that you sit in, and it unfolds, and you set it up wherever you want to set it up. And then you literally zip it up to your neck, and it has infrared panels all around you. So like, just your head sticking out. Uh-huh. And I'm in there for 40 minutes a day, sweating my butt off. I have to have a wet dry vac right next to my sauna. So after I get out, I've got to literally vacuum up not gallons, but maybe like 8 or 12 ounces of sweat. That, by the way, I get a lot of joy pouring into, the sink afterwards, and just watching all of that, those toxins that I had inside of my body are now out.
And are you doing that? Tim Ferriss is saying, he talks a lot about, he thinks that helps after the workouts. Is that the reason you're doing that? Or it's
no, I do it for cleansing and detoxing purposes. Like, it's just there's so many studies out there that prove how valuable doing infrared sauna is. And just overall, it's a process of sweating. I mean, infrared sauna is it's just more of a way of heating from the inside out. That's just kind of one of the ways that the infrared is different than just a dry sauna, but they're both incredibly valuable. It's just getting those heavy metals, those toxins out of your pores, at a rapid rate.
All right. So the book, The Common Path to Uncommon Success, should they go to Amazon? Do you have a special book page you want them to see? You doing anything sexy for the launch if they're listening to this real time?
Randy, do you even know my name? Come on. How would I not do something sexy for
I'm trying.
What's my name, Randy?
What's a sexy question that I know you can hit out of the park.
Listen, brother, if you're hearing my voice before March 23rd, you're lucky because you can have the opportunity to pre-order this book and get 5 insane bonuses. Just one of the bonuses, which by the way, these bonuses disappear March 23rd. So they're only available before March 23rd, but just one of them. I'm shipping all 3 of my journals, the Freedom, the Mastery, and the Podcast Journal, literally to your doorstep. I am shipping them to your doorstep for free on me. That's for everybody in the USA. If you're outside, I still love you, but I've got to email you the digital packs, which are beautiful as well. There's 4 other insane bonuses. uncommonsuccessbook.com. You can read about all the bonuses there. See my endorsements from Seth Godin, Gary Vaynerchuk, Neil Patel, Erica Mandy, Dory Clark. The first chapter there is for free that you can read and see if you like my writing style. There's a video of me jumping in my pool with all my clothes on and then describing all the details about the book. There's some awesome written stuff about the book as well. uncommonsuccessbook.com. And if you pre-order from there, you'll get an email from my team to get all the bonuses.
God, I think I clicked through on Amazon because
Andy, if you send me an email afterwards, I'll ship you out some journals. I got you covered, brother.
All right. So uncommonsuccessbook.com, that'll be in the show notes. If you're watching or listening, either way, it'll be in the show notes. Final thoughts. What exciting time for you. First real book. I'm excited for you. I want you guys listening, by the way, to know he really does walk his talk.
I try.
Is amazing. By the way, before I even go to that, have you ever been profiled in Simon Owen's media newsletter?
No, but I need it.
Okay, so I'm going to hook you up. I'm going to connect you guys by email because
nice.
You got to be in his newsletter. He's got to have you in his newsletter with what
I'm emailing you right now. Okay. Simon Owens.
Yeah, it's a Substack guy and he's doing just media stuff. And I love what he's doing. And it's just got your name written all over it.
Got it. Email sent.
Okay. So final thoughts, new book coming out. What else would you want to tell people? Anything?
That's it, brother. Listen, a quote that I want to leave your audience with, which changed my life. Albert Einstein, try not to become a person of success, but rather a person of value. That made me decide in that moment to become, for the first time in my life, a person of value. It planted the seed, which turned into Entrepreneurs on Fire. And I hope it plants a seed for you.
All right. JLD, thanks for being on the JOB, the common path to uncommon success. Get it, peeps.